What's up, Zombie Talk 123? I was reading the New York Times today. Sports Sunday always have just great articles, gets you different perspectives, different opinions about the game, not just a generic stats. They really give good perspective about the game. I love their articles, so kudos to them on that. But I was reading about the Braves bullpen. And remember in the 90s, they had great starting rotation, Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, etc. But the bullpen would fall apart in October. Now this year, the rotation is not as good as what it was in the 90s, but in a few years it could be. Their top prospects are pretty much all pitchers. They have some fantastic prospects coming up to Heron and others like that, a ranking in the top 10, 15 prospects in baseball. They have so many good guys in the minors that could really help this team right now in the majors. They're going to let him season a little more, give him another year. So this team, watch out for the Braves. This team is built fantastically. The fact that they have now Dan Uggla, Chipper Jones. Another article I read. The Royals uh, looking to trade prospects. Well, they're open to trading prospects for pitching, guys that are controlled for the next few years. We could maybe see a deal that could involve the Atlanta Braves and the Royals. The Atlanta Braves receiving Mike Moustakas. The fact that Chipper Jones is going, they need to find a third baseman that is going to valiantly jump in there and do as, almost as well as Chipper Jones has been doing. So they could get another franchise third baseman in the Royals, Mike Moustakas. You can see that potential deal there. But the fact is here that the Braves have had the best bullpen in maybe even baseball history. I mean, we are talking about three guys that have ERAs under 1.7 or something crazy like that, and that's never been done in history. Eric O'Flaherty, low ERA like 1.5 or something crazy. He has been another setup man with the best setup men in the game. Johnny Venters has had an amazing year. I actually have him on my fantasy baseball team. Pretty sure I got him on the waivers. I was like, Johnny Venters, he's a young Braves relief pitcher that we've heard so much about. They're young relief. I got to get him. Craig Kimbrel, taken. I got to get Venters. He's battling Craig Kimbrel for the spot. Good thing Craig Kimbrel got the spot. Johnny Venters, he probably would have, maybe just as many saves as Craig Kimbrel too. But, Kimbrel is just like kind of that classic closer coming in there, fiery. He's Alabama, he's just like a southern, fiery closer. I don't know. I just get that image of him. And he has 40 saves. He tied Natalie Feliz what the record that he set last year. He tied it for the most saves for a rookie closer. He's definitely on pace to break it with, 25, 26 games left in the season. I would love for him to get like 50 saves or 55 saves in his first year. I mean, this guy is so young. I think he's, 21, something crazy like that. And he's 40 saves already. I'm just going to look at his stats real quick here. I'm not really that big into looking at stats and just saying what the stats are. But this last year was 4-0, 0.44 ERA in 21 games. He had only one save. At that point, Billy Wagner was, the closer. This year he's 3-2, 1.70 ERA. He has appeared in 65 games, just below what Johnny Venters has appeared in 71. Most games appeared in the majors for a pitcher. 63 innings, and he has 40 saves. This guy, he strikes out something like 40% of his batters. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous how many strikeouts this guy gets. I mean, he has such high velocity, great curveball. He's just a strikeout pitcher. For him to hit 40 saves, he's definitely a top candidate for Rookie of the Year. What's his only competitor? Freddie Freeman. One of his only competitors, I'll say. Freddie Freeman, and they're both on the Braves. That's the thing. The Braves have had just so many strong young guys and even more young guys to come through the system, pitching-wise, just everywhere. They're going to have a very bright future. I'll just say that. Jason Hayward in right field, Michael Bourne in center field at least for another year. You have Dan Uggla. You have Allison Zales has been, iffy this year, but he's not long-term shortstop. And then having Freddie Freeman and Brian McCann and Chipper Jones right now, but we'll see for what they have for the future. You have Jared Jurgens. He's only 23 people. He's the real deal right there. Tommy Hanson, he's like 25. He's another guy who's a real deal. You got Julio Teheran, excuse me, and a few other top pitching prospects coming up. You still have guys like Derek Lowe and some of the older veteran guys that you could see definitely on the trading block this year or free agency. So they have some older guys coming out. They have new, really talented guys coming in that have way more potential than what Derek Lowe is pitching right now. But they've had pretty solid seasons. The Braves have had a great year this year. Their bullpen has been fantastic. And the interesting thing is the top two candidates for the NL Rookie of the Year is on the same team. Freddie Freeman and Craig Kimbrel. Let's talk about Freddie Freeman a bit. I was excited about him coming into the season. Expected kind of a lot. And, he's on pace for a 20-plus home run season and 75-plus RBIs already. This guy's average has been right around 300. He has been one of the most consistent guys on the team. In the beginning of the year, he kind of struggled looking at his average. Maybe he won't have as good a season. I thought he really picked it up, and he's been one of the most consistent. I think playing time is the main thing. Kind of putting him in at first this year and just expecting him to make it through the whole year being consistent. It was asking a lot, but this guy had a lot of talent, and he showed what. This guy is the new Braves first baseman for the future. He's young. And he's a very exciting player, great player to put in the middle of that lineup. So you can see him in the 3-hole, maybe next year. You can see him in the 5-hole. He's been batting a lot in the 5-hole this year, but I could definitely see him in the 3-hole. McCann has kind of owned that three spot for a long time, but we'll see what happens. The Braves, again, they just have a great lineup. It all starts with Brian McCann being the best offensive catcher in the league. Dan Uggla's starting to heat up, and he is himself now. Expect him to be himself next year too. Having those two in the lineup, kind of more the veteran guys. And you got Jason Hayward. He's had his sophomore struggles, but if the Braves are going to succeed in the playoffs, they need him to come up big. Playoffs are all about big hits and shut down closers and shutouts and no hitters. So this staff definitely has the talent to do it with Jared Jurgens, Tommy Hanson, all these other guys. You got Eric O'Flaherty and Johnny Venner setting up for Craig Kimbrel. Very exciting guy to watch in the playoffs. I would love for the Braves to win the World Series. I'm a Cardinals fan, diehard Cardinals fan. But if I would see any team, I'm a Cardinals fan, but I would actually kind of like to see Milwaukee maybe get far in the playoffs because they had to give up so much to get to where they're at right now. And I respect that. I don't think the moves that they made were necessarily all the right moves, considering getting Greinke and Markham because they're at the highest payroll they've ever been, and Prince Field is a free agent. They're not going to be able to afford him probably, and the fact that even if they do, they're definitely not going to be able to sign Zach Greinke and Sean Markham to long-term deals. Two the biggest free agents are going to be free agents after 2012. So they give up a ton of top prospects. We've already seen some guys: Brett Lowry, Alcides Escobar, Lorenzo Cain, other guys like that. And they got 2 pitchers that are going to be around for 2 years for them, and not much longer than that, unless they're able to really any other free agents they let them all go so they can re-sign those players. But they're not going to be able to keep them forever. So the fact they give up all those top prospects, Levy. So this is a window to win, getting all these guys. So if the Brewers made to a World Series, I'd be okay with it. It's their year. I gotta tip my hat to them at this point. They've really gone on a run. They have a lot of spirit, and it's hard to really dislike a team like that. So if they win the World Series, good for them, and hopefully they'll have a World Series hangover next year, and the Cardinals can win the playoffs or get to the playoffs. Again, I would love to see the Braves win. Really, they have a lot of likable guys on their team. Michael Bourne, for him to get win the World Series, being with Houston the last few years. It'd be exciting for all the guys, Craig Kimbrel, everyone. They worked so hard this year and they've pitched so well. It would be disappointing to not get far in the playoffs with that good a bullpen. But everyone's got to compete at that level, and it's funny because one team has 2 of the top Rookie of the Year candidates. So we'll see what happens. The battle between Freddie Freeman and Craig Kimbrel. At this point, I'm going to take Kimbrel over Freddie Freeman. Yes, Freddie Freeman has had a fantastic year, but, you know, Kimbrel, he's going to break the rookie record. Knock on wood, but, you know, I would assume he'd break the rookie record for saves, and he might even get somewhere around 50 saves or more. So, you know, that's amazing doing a rookie, and the fact that he's striking over 40% of his batters, ERA under 2. I think he's going to be a rookie of the year right there. That's probably my pick at this point. I'm not going to make any official picks yet, but he is one of the top candidates for sure. All right, candidate for rookie of the year, Craig Kimbrel. Relief pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, closer, already tied the rookie record for saves today, 40 saves. Thanks for watching MLB Talk 1, 2, 3.